All right. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. So I think I'm good now. I don't get a feedback. I don't have any feedback. Awesome. Great. Great. I'm happy. I am happy. All right. So this is going to be a lecture on the electromagnetification of the planet. And I'm going to share my screen here. I started earlier. Total disaster. Going at it again. Hopefully everything works well this time. Hopefully everything this time. An expert on any of these things that I talk about, but I'm talking about them because I'm talking about them from the perspective that I know of them. If anybody in the chat wants to insert their 2 cents or 3 cents or 4 cents, please do. I'm not an expert. Again, I'm just trying to give out information the best way I see fit and giving out information the best way I have learned it. So this is what I'm going to do. It's called electromagnetification of the planet. It's not a popular subject matter, but for those that are seeking information and seeking knowledge upon subject matters that haven't been explicitly taught to them in the past, this is your opportunity to get some of that information here. So let's begin. Electromagnetification of the planet. All right. So the lecture notes, this is what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to talk about the electric and magnetic fields. I'm going to define electromagnetic radiation. We're going to talk about the types of electromagnetic waves. Types of electromagnetic waves defined. We're going to define them. Then we're going to talk about electromagnetic fields and the implications on human health. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the impact of 5G radiation. You guys ready? Let's go. Let's go. So, magnetic fields and electric fields, they're very similar. The only difference is that the electric field is the area that's surrounding a charged particle. All right. The area surrounding a charged particle, whereas the magnetic field is the field area surrounding the magnet. So the field area surrounding the magnet is the magnetic field, and the charged particles surrounding the area of the electric field is what an electric field is. Now, the electric particles are charged by what we know as it's called ion bombardment. And what ion bombardment is that it deals with the exchange of electrons. So we know that, as we learned in school, when you add an electron, it inserts a negative charge. When you extract an electron, it inserts a positive charge. So when you talk about ion bombardment, it's the bombardment of ionized particles that relate to the functions of how electrons impact the charge, be it a positive charge or a negative charge. Okay. So within the dynamic of ion bombardment, there's something that occurs called corona discharge. And corona discharge is not a good thing. Corona discharge is not a healthy thing. Now you may be asking yourself, I've heard of that term before, corona. Oh, the virus. Now, this is just my theory. Now I'm going to put on my conspiracy theory hat on here. I'm not saying this definitively. I'm not a scientist. But I think that there's something to say that the virus is called corona, but then we have something that's dealing with electromagnetic fields underneath that subject matter, underneath the umbrella of that field, using the term corona. And it has nothing to do with viruses or virus in the way that we think of it. We think of a virus as something that happens in the body due to something else. But we don't think of a virus being something that's in the air due to radiation and electromagnetic fields and electric fields. We don't think about that. But I find it very alarming that in the articles that I read, it talks about something called a corona discharge. Now, I'm going to try to pull up that article and read it. And I tried to do that before, and something terribly happened. And hopefully nothing like that happens this time. I'm going to try to do it again. It was charged particles, electromagnetic. I think it was from Science Direct. That's where the article was from. Let me see if I can. Okay, this one is not it here. ion bombardment, corona discharge. No, it's not here. I know this talks about ion bombardment for sure. This is not here. Let me. No, it's not. Okay, it's not here either. I mean, I can read it, but I wanted you guys to see the article itself. Let me see if I could pull it up in the search engine. Corona discharge. Study corona running. No. It's not doing it there. Let me go here and see what it. Ion bombardment. I think it was ion implantation. Let me go back. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Yeah. For some reason, I'm not able to pull it up. For some strange reason. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to just tell you because for some reason, I'm not able to pull it up. So I'm going to just tell you from memory what the article was saying. So corona discharge, it has involvements with plasma, and it has its involvement with plastics. And it's talking about the increasing amount of radiation that works with plastics, making plastics more adherable. Now you say, well, what do you mean adherable? Well, it makes plastics more functional. But we understand that plastics, in conjunction with the human system, those things don't work hand in hand. We understand plastics are not good. There's no good thing that comes from using plastic, to be honest with you guys. The chemicals of plastic are not good. It becomes very bioavailable in the system. What I mean by bioavailable means that it's hard to get it out of your system. It becomes alive in your system, working in conjunction with your system. You become one with the plastic, and plastic is not good. Remember, a lot of people used to create plastic and say, oh, it's BPA free, it's bisphenol A free. But plastics are never good. So corona discharge is the increasement of ion function. Now you say ions, what does that mean? It's about particles being charged. We understand that ionized radiation causes cancer, but we also know that non-ionized radiation also causes sickness as well. So it's not about eliminating cancer. We're just talking about human health, period. You hear these experts talk about, well, ionized radiation is what's bad for you, but regular radiation in small dosages is okay. No, they're both bad. Yes, one's much worse than the other, but it doesn't make the other one less harmful. They're both harmful. One just has a higher severity of harm that it is going to cause you, and one is less. But the one that's less, to me, is just as equally as deadly, because over time you think that you're okay getting radiation in small increments, and then it builds up into something that's catastrophic. So that's what corona discharge is. And that's why it begs the question, when they talked about coronavirus, were they talking about radiation that's in the air mixed in with the chemtrails, mixed in with the geoengineering from the aerosol spraying programs that are being inserted upon the stratosphere? Are they talking about those harmful chemicals in conjunction with radiation? Because they're spraying plastics on us, small microplastics that we don't see. Why do you think when you go outside and you come back in, you have an outside rubbery smell on your body? That's the plastics. Our environment, our air is polluted. Is that what they're talking about? And if you look up, sincerely look up and do your own research, you look up the symptoms of radiation poisoning, you would see that symptoms of radiation poisoning are equally the same as the symptoms of coronavirus. So could it be that the true coronavirus was caused by corona discharge due to the increase of electromagnetic frequencies? Could it be? I don't know. That's just a question to ask. Why is it called corona discharge? And why do they call it a coronavirus? Isn't that around the time that 5G technology was coming up? Around that time, they were just putting those towers everywhere. If you think that radiation from EMFs has no impact on the human body, then you're just in denial. You'll hear them say scientists don't, it's not enough evidence. There's enough evidence. There's always enough evidence. We have way too much technology to just rule things out. Either it's harmful for us or it's not harmful for us. There's not enough evidence. There's clearly enough evidence. But if they came out unequivocally and said that EMFs, electromagnetic fields, electric fields, magnetic fields, radiation, ionized, non-ionized, all these things are safe. Do you know how many people will be out of business? They can't say it's not safe, that it causes cancer. You'll have people rioting out there because they'll know that they're deliberately being put underneath a system, underneath the ecosystem that's conducive to being unhealthy. Who wants that? We wonder why cancer is high. We wonder why people are getting sick. The corona discharge is all around us. That's the virus, radiation poisoning. And the body is constantly working overtime to excrete those toxins out. The cells get stressed. Then now it has to weaken your body. It weakens your body by taking your sense of smell and taste away from you so you don't have an appetite. Because the body is trying to suppress you eating so it doesn't have to exert energy into chemical digestion. It doesn't have to exert chemical into chemical digestion. So it can use all the energy and the enzymes to try to heal you and cleanse you. That's why it takes away your sense of smell and your sense of taste. It's not a bad thing. The body's trying to repair itself because you're filled with toxins. Corona discharge, folks. That's the coronavirus. I could be reaching. Okay. Because how does something travel from one continent over here? If the entire planet is electromagnetified, if the entire planet is underneath electromagnetification, then it's no surprise that everybody on the planet was getting sick around the same time. But similar symptoms to flu symptoms or coronavirus symptoms, radiation poisoning, they're all similar symptoms. All right. Okay. What is electromagnetic radiation? It's a stream of massless particles called photons, each traveling in a wave-like pattern and at the speed of light. Each photon contains certain amount of energy. The different types of radiation are defined by the amount of energy found in the photons. And we also know that the sun also emits photons as well. Well, those are good photons. All right, those are good photons that are good for plants, that are good for microbiome, soil microbiome, that are good for the melanated skin, for the neuromelanin in the third, fourth ventricle of the brain. Those things are good. Those are good photons. Well, we also have bad photons, depending on the way it's emitted. All right, there's 7 types of electromagnetic waves. You have radio waves, microwaves, infrared light, you have visible light, you have ultraviolet light, you have X-rays, then you have gamma rays. I'm going to talk about those, okay? All right. Types of electromagnetic waves. So first, let's talk about radio waves, all right? Let's talk about radio waves. So radio waves, your radio captures radio waves, all right? And we know for a fact, let me see here, make sure that I'm on the right one. All right, your radio captures radio waves emitted by radio stations bringing your favorite tunes. Radio waves are also emitted by stars and gases in space. Radio waves are the lowest frequency waves in the electromagnetic spectrum and are utilized for data transmission from transmitters, satellites, as well as radars. So question, class, would you guys consider radio waves to be safe or unsafe? Relatively speaking, we would say that radio waves are not harmful. They're small waves. They're tiny. All right? They're tiny. All right, next we have microwave. This is what you guys love to put your food in and heat it up. Put the radiation inside your food, and your food ends up soaking in that radiation and you eat it. So let's see what it says about microwaves. Another type, the second type of electromagnetic waves. It says microwave radiation will cook your popcorn in just a few minutes, but it also is also used by astronomers to learn about the structure of nearby galaxies. Microwaves are the second lowest frequency waves in the electromagnetic spectrum. What's the first one, class? Radio waves. What's the second one? Microwaves. These waves have been utilized for data transmissions, heating, foodstuff, etc. Okay, so would we say, class, that microwaves are dangerous? Well, it depends in small amounts, but people who microwave their food, who eat microwave foods every single day of their lives, I mean, it has a toll on your body in the long run, but that's way down the line. All right, but it's still not optimal health. It's still not putting your your body in a pristine state. It's not the best practice, but is it deadly to use a microwave to microwave your food? No, it's not. No, it's not. But in the culture that we live in, I'm not surprised that most of us are heating up TV dinners inside microwaves, and that's the culture we live in, a culture that espouses to use harmful practices as a normal way of living. I'm not surprised by that because we live in a death culture. So I'm not saying you're going to die because you microwave your food, but what I am telling you is that if you live most of your life microwaving your foods, it will have an impact on your health long term. But so will a lot of the things that we have in this culture. They're all made to sicken us, to decrease the lifespan of humanity. You're not going to live to your 120-year max, because by those telomere capsules that was infused in our cells upon our creation, we were made to live 120 years max. We're not reaching that. Some of us are lucky to reach 60, 70, or even 80. So depopulation doesn't mean killing everybody at once. It just means decreasing the lifespan of people. It's always been a project since the beginning of time. If you read the old ancient texts and the involvement with extraterrestrial beings coming in and out of our planet, because our planet is a sea planet, they've always came here tampering with our genetics. But that's a whole nother subject for another day. The subject I'm on today is about electromagnetic waves and letting you know what microwaves are. So next, all right. Another type of electromagnetic wave is infrared. Night vision goggles pick up the infrared light emitted by your skin and objects with heat. In space, infrared light helps us map the dust between stars. Infrared waves are in a lower middle range of frequencies in the electromagnetic spectrum. Between microwave and visible light, its size ranges from few millimeters down to microscopic lengths. All right, so that's infrared. Infrared. Another type of wave, we're talking about visible light. Visible light. All right. Visible light is the portion of the electromagnetic spectrum that can be detected by the human eye. The most noticeable natural source of visible light is the sun. The different colors of the objects are perceived based on the wavelengths of light an object absorbs and reflects. The visible band falls in the range of wavelengths from 390 nanometers to 700 nanometers. So that's when we can actually see visible light, is between that spectrum, 390 nanometers and 700 nanometers. So visible light is the portion of the electromagnetic spectrum that can be detected by the human eye. All right. Now, there are parts of the electromagnetic spectrum that we can't see. So there are many things going on around us that we can't see with the naked eye. Doesn't mean that it's not there. So that's when you get the idea when people talk about other beings, other interdimensional beings that are among us, that you just can't see them. It's true, because they may be operating at a different wavelength that we can't see. And they may be vibrating on a level that we can't touch either. But that's a whole nother subject for another day. Vibrations is what allows us to touch things. Atoms and molecules. How high you vibrate, how low you vibrate, the physicality of what we think is matter, which is not really physical. Everything is actually just an illusion, but I don't want to get too deep and get into a rabbit hole here. But suffice to say that visible light is detected at 390 nanometers to 790 nanometers. But if the nanometers are functioning outside those parameters, then you will not see it. It doesn't mean that it's not there. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's not there. All right, next. The types of electromagnetic waves. Now we have ultraviolet light or ultraviolet. Let's just say ultraviolet, right? So ultraviolet radiation is emitted by the sun and are the reason skin tans and burns. Hot objects in space emit UV radiation as well. Solar energy generates ultraviolet radiation. These waves have been shorter wavelengths. These waves have even shorter wavelengths than visible light. Exposure to this radiation leads to sunburns and can cause cancer in living organisms. Let me stop right there. Causing cancer in living organisms is causing cancers with people who have a high degree or who have a majority of degree of pheomelanin on their skin. If that's the type of melanin that they have. If you look at my past lecture on melanin, people with pheomelanin are pale skinned Europeans, or what we know as white people. So they're the ones that are more subject to get cancer from the sun. You see, the culture has taught us that the sun is something that's evil, but it's not. Now, because of what's happening to our ecosystem and because of what's happening in our atmosphere and what's going on in our stratosphere, we now can say that the sun is bad for you. Why? Because our ozone layer is being depleted. And when the ozone layer is being depleted, there's a thin protective layer that surrounds the planet, that surrounds Earth. If that layer keeps thinning out, that means the sun is not coming in underneath the filter. That means it's coming in directly on us. So UVAs are good. UVBs are okay. But when you get to UVCs, that's when it starts to get bad. UVB rays are not bad for melanated people. It's bad for Caucasians, those people who have pheomelanin. The sun becomes bad for everybody here at this point where you see UVC. And after UVC, you have X-ray. Why are we getting the sun in this kind of range now? Because, as I said before, our ozone layer, they're saying because it's global warming. It's not global warming. It's because of the aerosol spraying programs that are being done in the skies. It's because of those ionosphere heaters. It's because of all the pollution that's on the planet. It's everything. So we're going to end up going through what is called Venus syndrome. Venus had a similar atmosphere. They had similar atmospheric pressures to what Earth has. And that planet is no more. It's uninhabitable. And I think that's what's going to happen in the future to Earth. As long as we continue on this path, it's going to get to a point where people will not be able to go outside and face the sun. That's when we get to X-rays. UVA, UVB, UVC. We're now in UVC, where the sun is at its hottest. It's not that the sun is at its hottest, it's that the photons being emitted by the sun are burning us because the protective layer of the ozone layer is being thinned out. I hope that makes sense to you guys, but that's what ultraviolet light is. Okay. All right, next, another type of electromagnetic waves. You have gamma rays. Doctors use gamma ray imaging to see inside your body. The biggest gamma ray generator of all is the universe. These waves are the highest frequency electromagnetic waves and are emitted by only the most energetic cosmic objects such as pulsars, neutron stars, supernovas, and black holes. All right. Now you see on this illustration here, you see in the middle where it says where visible light is. Remember, I told you guys it's between 390 nanometers to 700 and something nanometers. So this is within that range where visible light can be received, and you have the different colors that are reflecting off of that you can see with your naked eye. Then you have ultraviolet, then you have X-ray, then you have gamma. Gamma is the most powerful. All right, but we're not from a biochemical perspective and the way our DNA is now underneath this polluted atmosphere, we can't, as melanated gods of the planet, we can't take gamma rays right now. We're not vibrating high enough, and the pollution is the atmosphere is too polluted for us to receive gamma. We'll fry. X-rays too. X-rays will be bad for us. Completely destroy us. All right, next. All right, electromagnetic fields in human health. So electromagnetic fields Make sure I'm here. Okay, I'm on the right path. So electromagnetic fields are emitted by many natural and man-made sources that play important roles in daily life. Electromagnetic fields, okay, I keep thinking I could highlight. That's why I keep accidentally clicking and it keeps going to the next screen. But electromagnetic fields are emitted by many natural and man-made sources. So there are natural electromagnetic fields that are not bad for us. But then you have man-made electromagnetic fields. Those are the ones that are bad for us, like the 5G technology. That's bad for us. It is. I'm not telling you to throw away your phone. I'm just enlightening you to let you know what you're dealing with. That's all. That's all. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty or anything like that. So emitted by natural and man-made sources that play important roles in daily life. More than 3 billion people across the world are exposed to electromagnetic fields every day. Lifetime exposure to electromagnetic fields is becoming the subject of significant scientific investigation since it has been the potential to cause, since it has the potential to cause crucial changes and deleterious effects in biological systems. This is not it's not about investigating. It's proven. They already know. These are just word semantics. They're just playing with words. We're still investigating. We're still trying to figure this out. They already know. 100 years from now, they're going to say, yeah, it was harmful. They always do that. They did that with nicotine. They did that with cigarettes. Cigarettes were promoted as being something that was healthy. People used to spray DDT on their clothing back in the past. All right. I forgot what DDT stands for, but it's a toxic material. It's a neurotoxin. Kids were spraying it on their pajamas. It was a way to keep insects away. It was like a bug repellent thing. Kids were just inhaling this. So kids were getting neurological problems. This was like in the 50s, I believe. And a high rate of kids who had polio was resurfacing around that time, and people were linking polio to some unknown virus, not linking it to the DDT that was being exposed, that kids were being exposed to, developing children being exposed to that. So there's a lot of things that we're under today that we're going to look back years and I'm like, why were we doing that? But there were people who were trying to say things like me, and people ignored. People just kept on living their normal lives like everything's okay. But EMFs are not good. So, however, despite making life easier, they may also cause a number of health problems. In particular, the average age of beginning mobile phone use has decreased rapidly to elementary school age, and durations of exposure to EMFs are also increasing. One study reported that extremely low exposure to EMFs from mobile phones may cause health problems. Did you hear that? Extremely low. So I think you guys think, oh, if it's low, it's okay. It's low. No, electromagnetic fields, there's nothing good about it, whether it's low or high. So it's saying here, going back. So it's saying here, exposure to EMFs are also increasing. It says one study reported that extremely low exposure, not extremely high, extremely low exposure to electromagnetic fields from mobile phones may cause health problems. It's not no may or could or might. It will cause health problems. May cause health problems. See, they always give you guys, you people who love their lifestyle, who don't want to change, they love hearing buzzwords like that. It might, it may. Studies haven't definitively said this. Scientists are still trying to figure it out. So while scientists are still trying to figure it out, you keep on bombarding yourself with the cell phone until one day you croak and die. Because people don't like to hear the truth because it forces us to make changes. Am I saying never use your cell phone? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is limit your exposure to your cell phone. What I'm saying is that don't talk on the phone with your phone on your ear. What I'm saying is that don't use Bluetooth technology in your ear all the time. There's radiation close to your brain. All right. Use earbuds that you can plug into your phone to limit. We have to be smarter. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying do away with our technology, but you have to find a way to circumvent the dangerous path that we're on. You have to find a way to get around from that. Extreme low exposure to EMFs will cause health problems. Get that through your head. Not may, will. Next. All right. So here you have several studies from in vitro and in vivo research have indicated that these radiations directly affect positive and negative biological systems. All right. So you have in vivo, I think in vivo means in the lab, and in vitro means inside the organism. So in a lab and outside the lab, they've done research. They found out that all types of waves affects us. Cell phones, cell phone towers, microwave ovens, TV broadcasts emit radiations, wireless internet, radars, laptops, radios. So when I titled this lecture "Electromagnetification of the Planet," I wasn't using hyperbolic language. I really mean that we are electrified. Everything around us, we are bombarded by electricity. All right. It's a bombardment of EMFs. That's why the lifespan of humanity is short. That's why we can't live past 100. Even if you claim to be healthy, you're not going to live that long. You're going to die. We're at war, folks. So this illustration shows the various this illustration that you see, it shows the various sources of electromagnetic radiation with their corresponding frequencies and ranges. So you can see you have gigahertz here, megahertz there, gigahertz, megahertz there. All right. All of these things, they penetrate the brain. This is the part of the human sphere, the human biosphere. And they enter through your pores, through your brain, through your nose, through your skin. And we are also electrical beings as well. And we get impacted as well. And I'll go as far as to say this. People of higher degree of melanin are more impacted by EMFs than any other race. So yes, it's great to be highly melanated because we get our energy from the sun. We can take the sun better. All right. But it's also a curse as well because being electrified hurts us the most because we are more the melatonin in our brain has a higher degree of being binded to to anything that's synthetic. So earlier I talked about natural EMFs, but I'm talking the man-made EMFs, which is what you see in this picture. All these are man-made, the TVs, the cell phones, and all that. Radiation from the sun in a pristine environment is great for the melanated being. You start hurting the ozone layer. Now the sun becomes dangerous to our skin. Then you add to that all these man-made devices, and voila, you have the perfect environment and the perfect recipe for chaos and disease and disaster. All right, next. This figure 2 right here is an illustration of the various alterations caused by electromagnetic radiation being transmitted into the human body, where these effects can be detrimental, useful, or neutral. This research topic has received significant interest in a few last decades. The in-depth mechanisms of microwave bio-interactions have shown that EMR acts as a helping agent to induce genetic changes in biosystems. Double layer of fat molecules, typically useful for providing an essential structure of a cell membrane. This electrical radiant is believed to be an effective So let's look at this here. All right, you have energy metabolism, cell morphology, cell division, and membrane permeability. When you're talking about EMFs and electromagnetification, there goes that word ion again. Ion and electrons. I talked about electrons earlier. The addition of an electron causes a negative charge. The subtraction of an electron causes a positive charge. Then you have proteins. These proteins are good. They're supposed to be used to build tissue, to rebuild, to restore. But when you're getting electromagnetic fields, this becomes when it's ionizing it impedes, it weakens your protein. It decreases the functionality of your protein, which also hurts your cells from doing what they're supposed to do because it's all part of your DNA. So your energy metabolism is affected. Cell morphology is increased, which causes cancer, because when cells are replicating at a faster pace, it causes cancer. You have increased cell division. Cell division causes oxidative stress because cells, they come in pairs. And when you have cell divisions, when you keep splitting cells, and then now they start coming in 3, that one that's loose, because you have 2 that are binded together because they come in pairs, that one that's loose is going to try to find something to latch onto. And what does it do? It latches onto anything that it can, which causes oxidative stress. It increases oxidative stress, which causes us to age prematurely. That's what causes us to look stressed, or look, when you're 30, you look like you're 50, or you're 40, you look like you're 60. All right. Then you have a membrane permeability. So your membrane is changing your membrane, it's altering your DNA. All right. You have apoptosis right here. Apoptosis means cell death. Cell death is not a bad thing, but it has to happen incrementally in time. Everything functions off of our circadian rhythm. Everything functions off of timing. There's a reason why you sleep at a certain time, and there's a reason why you. Hold on, I'm reading a comment here. It says they've already started making phones with no jacks. I have to use Bluetooth. I have to, yeah, yeah, there, yeah. Cell phones, seriously, the things we use are killing us. But I mean, I'm not here to scare you. I'm not like a fear monger. I'm just letting you guys know the truth. But yeah, going back to the lecture, cell apoptosis is called cell death. You say cell death, that's bad. No, cell death is good. Just like when you lose strands of hair, we have dead skin cells that falls off of us daily. The body is in a constant state of regeneration. So when the body is regenerating itself, it's a way for the body to rid itself of the old and restore itself with the new. So when you think of cell apoptosis, it's called cell death. The old cells need to die and new cells are regenerated. But when you speed up the process, because you have radiation poisoning, you're bombarded with radiation, so it increases the rate of cell apoptosis, because now your cells are dying faster. Cell apoptosis is to hurry up and get rid of the cells and regenerate. When your body's over regenerating itself too quickly, it causes premature aging. That's why when people are getting older, they start to look uglier. You look at their younger pictures, they look so innocent, they look beautiful, and they look full of youth. When they start to get, I don't mean, when I say old, I don't mean like elderly people. I'm talking about from your 20s to like maybe your mid 30s or maybe your 40s. You just look like, man, what happened to this person? It's because of an increase of cell apoptosis, because the body is always trying to regenerate itself, but you cannot speed it up. It has to do it in its own time. There's a civil rhythmic pattern that's going on when you're talking about cell apoptosis. So when you hear cell death, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a great thing. But increased cell death is not good, because the body is working overtime to restore itself. Then you have necrosis, which is death, and degeneration, which is also a decline. All of this due to radiation. Then you have sensitive effects of human and animals. EMR, you see right here, EMR exposure, sensitive effects on human and animals, because human and animals, we have similar systems. This is why whenever they're doing studies, they use mice, because our respiratory system, our organs, our digestive systems, our nerves, we have similarities. So the central nervous system is impacted, the reproductive system is impacted, and the cardiovascular system is impacted. When you talk about reproductive systems, you talk about women. You have the kids that are being born today with autism, ADHD, all that stuff. You don't think that radiation has anything to do with that? You just think that's just out of the blue? All right. You go ahead and keep thinking that. You go ahead and keep thinking that. All right. So electromagnetic radiation. All right. Electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not scared. Truth is truth. Yeah. Yeah. Truth is truth. You're right. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Just give people truth. Whether it's, people may take it a certain way. Like, I don't want to know this, but it's good to know. I mean, it's just good to know. I mean, I don't want to know this either. This wasn't fun when I was researching this stuff. I wasn't like, hey, I'm happy. I'm like, whoa. I kind of knew it, but I wanted to kind of take a deeper look into it. And I'm seeing that, wow, this stuff is really not good. So again, on this illustration here, you have a reactive oxygen species. That's what ROS stands for, reactive oxygen species, right? And number 2, you have the mitochondria, crucial for cellular process such as energy production. So again, the mitochondria, our whole body is a huge complex machine, right? Whenever you get something that's foreign, I'm gonna just explain it to you in layman terms. I'm not gonna read the notes that I wrote down here because it gets too convoluted. It's too much scientific terms. I'm gonna just explain it to you in layman terms. In other words, the body is a complex machine, and left alone, it can function and work optimally. When you start bombarding it with stressors from electromagnetic fields that are not natural but man-made, then you get all these things. You get inflammation. You get your energy starts to change. Homeostasis, you're no longer in balance. You start to get these headaches out of nowhere, and then they tell you to go take Tylenol, which is not good because Tylenol is also a toxin, but that's neither here nor there. Then you have these sodium channels that are responsible for intaking the things that are good for you, but now they're intaking the things that are bad for you. So it's rearranging your whole DNA in a nutshell. It's rearranging you to be something that you're not. That's the power of electromagnetic fields, because we are electrically charged beings as well. Electric and electric. We are electric. Yeah, we have skin and bones, but we have electricity in our bodies as well. And all these things cannot be good for us. All right. All right. So the question that I'm going to come up with here is, can EMFs cause neurological problems? Yes, they can. From what we've just talked about, you're going to have neurological problems. You're going to have a higher degree of dementia, of Alzheimer's. All right. You say, why? Well, because neuroreceptors to the brain, the dopamine receptors in the brain become impacted by all this technology that we have over time. So that's why now it's normal now when you're of old age to just have dementia. They've normalized it, but that's not normal. In Nigeria, my grandmother lived to be 100 years old, and she was walking, working. She called her shot. She left on her own terms. She told the doctors, "I'm good. I'm ready to go." And boom, she was gone. She took her last breath. 100 years old. Do you know that the healthiest country in the world is Nigeria, where I'm from? Not because we're the richest, not because we have technology. The things that we laud over here, the things that we worship over here, are the things that we don't have in Nigeria at abundance. But little do you know, that's what's keeping people alive longer there, because everything we eat is grown from the soil, is grown from the earth. Yeah, man, all this stuff is killing. So yes, it causes neurological problems, and if you're impacted neurologically, it's going to impact every part of your body. It's going to impact your sight, because that's generated by neurons. It's going to impact your gait, how you stand, how you walk. It's going to impact how you hold things. You get weaker. It's going to impact the in terms of your muscle regeneration. You're going to lose muscle. You're going to end up having muscular atrophy. And also the brain function. You start to lose memory. You start to forget who you are. You're being bombarded by ionized radiation. But over time, though, the thing is, you guys think, oh, radiation, one time you die. No, this is a slow, subtle death that happens incrementally due to culture and lifestyle. What we do repeatedly becomes the death of us. Death doesn't come once. It's death by 1,000 cuts, folks. I keep cutting you with little cuts. Eventually, it'll get to you. Eventually, it'll get there. All right? Yeah. I read that children of millennials look older than their parents. Dang. So you have, wow. That is scary. Man, that is scary. I read that children of millennials look older than their parents. That's crazy. That is, man. That's true. That's true. That's why I work overtime, guys. That's why I'm in the gym. I'm trying to eat right. Like even right now, before I did this video, I had a bowl of watermelon and some pumpkin seeds that I was eating. That's what I was eating, man. I tried. Like I really do. I really do. Crazy. Yes. So this question, can EMFs cause neurological problems? Hell yes, they can. Hell to the yes. All right. What are the dangers of EMFs and radiation? Well, let's look. Increased blood-brain barrier permeability. All right. DNA single and double strand breaks. Oh, let me explain this. Increased blood-brain barrier permeability. I mean, the blood-brain barrier is a protective layer that protects your blood and protects your cells. But when you increase that, the permeability of that, it means that it's more susceptible to alterations and changes. We don't want alterations and changes between the blood-brain barrier. We want it to just be stagnant. But when it's permeable, it means that it can change now. It's now allowed to change. And when that happens, your body is now open to be impacted with diseases through the blood. DNA single and double strand breaks. Remember, I told you guys, cells, these molecules, they come in pairs. I forgot what the names were. I was reading my book about DNA. I forgot what the term was, but I don't know, not telomere capsules. It's not telomere capsules. I forgot the term. But DNA single and double strand breaks. So everything comes in pairs. And when things start coming in threes, that third thing, whatever you call it, it starts to figure out what can I latch onto. So it's going to find something to latch onto. And that's what drains us. Our bodies were made with pristine precision to work in a way that it's supposed to work. Like it has a unique nature in its functionality. But when we start to add EMFs to our bodies our body's like, what the hell is going on? All right. So those breaks are not good. DNA single and double strand breaks are not good. Disruption to cell metabolism. All right. And oxidative damage. Oxidative damage is what causes premature aging. And all of these pretty much cause premature aging, because the more sick you are, it causes premature aging. DNA sick. And because the more sick you are, they're going to put you in a hospital. and fill you full of toxins. That's what they do. They don't ever tell you about nutrition. They never tell you about changing your day-to-day habits or things that you do. They don't tell you that. They just write your prescription and send you on your way. So these are the dangers of EMFs. It's 5G technology, all right? So when you talk about 5G, it's measured in these measurements, in these units. You have hertz. I'm trying to make sure I'm at the right place here. No. Hold on. Okay, I skipped one. I was wondering, like, why am I there? Okay, yeah, there it goes. The dangers of EMFs and radiation. You have melatonin reduction, disruption to brain glucose metabolism, and generation of stress proteins. So it generates stress proteins, disruption to brain glucose metabolism, and melatonin reduction. Okay, and you know how important melatonin is what balances you out. The secretion of melatonin and serotonin is what keeps you balanced. You know, and if you decrease melatonin reduction, it therefore removes you being in a state of homeostasis. Your equilibrium is off. That's what that means. All right, so 5G technology is measured in these units. You have hertz, which is 100. You have megahertz, which measures in a. Why does this keep doing this? We have megahertz, which measures in a 1,000. You have kilo, that measures in 1,000,000, and you have giga, which is 1,000,000,000. I want you guys to keep these measurements in mind. You have hundreds, thousands, million, billion. Hundreds, thousands, millions, billion. Guess what 5G is? 5G puts our hertz on a gigahertz level. That means 5G operates in the billions of hertz. So what does that mean? That means that it's not good. It's the highest. You're getting the highest amount of dosage and frequency because it's in the billions. All right. So what does the science say? All right. Science says that cancer starts at 1.8 gigahertz. 5G is 15 to 150 times over the threshold when cancer starts. So again, cancer starts at 1.8 gigahertz. 5G is 15 to 150 times over the threshold of when cancer starts. Again, I asked the class, is 5G safe? No, it's not. Do you have cancer today? No, you don't. That doesn't mean that cancer isn't being formed in your body. It just hasn't hit to the point where it's become dangerous. We all have it. But that's why eating healthy and working out, we have to repel. We have to go against the system. That's why when I'm going on my morning workout talks and I'm driving in the morning to the gym, I'm talking about fighting against the system. I don't have a choice. We all don't have a choice to sit on our asses. We have to get to the gym. We have to try to eat right because our environment is killing us. They're telling us. These aren't secret. These are online. They're telling you these things. So it's your fault. If you just sit there and just wallow in sickness, it's sort of your fault because especially if you don't do anything about it. You can't blame the man. You can't blame the white man for doing it. You can't blame the people that are in power. Yeah, we know that the practices are not good. We know that the practices are not good for the human body and the human genome for sure. But it doesn't mean you sit there and just let them kill you. You have to fight back. How do you fight back? Informing other people and doing your best to live a healthy life. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Okay, so we're gonna watch this quick video. All right, this was done in 2022. This was done 2 years ago. All right, and you're gonna see how the media spins things to lie to people. They're very subtle. I want you to listen to this, and I may stop it occasionally and pause it to give my commentary on it.
5G technology is becoming more prominent, not only in Pennsylvania, but across the country. More cell phone companies are putting up 5G towers, impacting millions of customers. But some are raising the question, are these towers safe? Sarah,
I'm going to stop right there. When people have to ask questions, are these towers safe? I already told you guys earlier, when a question like that comes up, is this safe? It's not safe. No one ever asked the question, is an apple safe? No one ever asked the question, are eating fruits and vegetables safe? When things are safe, you don't have to, there's no question. There's nothing that comes out of it. Even alcohol. You have people say, well, is it safe to consume alcohol? Well, it's okay if you do it in small moderations. No, alcohol is not safe. Let's just be blunt and be very frank and be black and white here. When the question is posed, especially by mainstream, because that's what they like to do. They like to keep you in a state of, they actually put people in a state of ambiguity, right? They put you in a state where, well, no one really knows. They're still doing research. Yeah, studies have said. No. The fact that the question comes out, is this safe? It's not safe. And then when they try to tell you how to do it responsibly, drink responsibly, do this responsibly, gamble responsibly. When you have to add responsible to something, then it's not safe. It's not safe. So when they how she started off by saying, and people are asking questions, could this be safe? No, it's not safe. And the people that are asking questions are not people. You have other scientists out there and people who study this who know it's not safe, but they don't give those people a voice. Those people are actually afraid to come out and speak out because they may lose their jobs and lose their pensions. But they'll allow people to come out and speak on it, so-called experts. Let's see what the video says.
Sarah Wilson joins us with answers tonight. Sarah, more cell phone companies are putting up 5G towers, impacting millions of customers, but some are raising the question, are these towers safe? Sarah Wilson joins us with answers tonight. Sarah.
Alicia, this is something cell phone users have been talking about for the past 3 years. Some of them are worrying that the 5G towers that make our phones so fast could actually be hurting our health. I spoke with one local health expert.
Could be. No, is hurting our health. People are asking questions, is 5G safe? No, it's not safe. Yes, it's hurting our health. I think that if the news was just truthful, then it would empower people like me and you and other people out there to say, okay, I know this is dangerous. So I have to find out an alternative way to approach the way I do things. I should limit my access or limit my exposure to radiation. I'm not going to use my cell phone for X amount of hours a day. I'm going to pull my laptop or pull the iPad away from my little children to make sure that they're doing something else that doesn't involve electronics. See, we're not saying that we want to get rid of the stuff. Just be honest with the people and let us as people make the calculated decision and make our own choice using discernment to say, this is what I will not do and this is what I will do. But when you come on the news, because people believe that the news, the media tells the truth, people believe the media is gospel, we don't really know. People are still trying to figure it out. What does the layman do at home? They're like, oh, well, they don't really know. It's probably is safe. Because why would people create things that are harmful for people? That's the same question I ask. Why would the FDA approve harmful foods? So this idea of trusting your government and trusting mainstream media to give you information that's factual, that's gone. We are in the age of enlightenment. We are in the age of Aquarius, the awakening, the age of the awakening. There's no excuse to be ignorant. Not anymore.
To see what she had to say. 5G coverage spanning across the mid-state. The fifth generation technology launching in 2019 and growing ever since. But there's concern, mainly on social media, about the towers posing a potential health risk. Worries they could cause things like cancer because of the radiation they transmit.
The 5G levels that at the base of towers is still many times lower than the radiation that you get even from the sun.
Thompson says right now, there's no evidence that low levels of 5G can hurt someone's health.
And there's further no evidence that people
levels of 5G. There's no evidence that low levels of 5G can hurt someone's health.
And there's further no evidence that
no evidence? She sounds like she's lying. Look at her eyes. She's reading something. She doesn't even believe what the hell she's saying. They told her to say this. Low levels over a period of time become high levels. I'm not an alcoholic, right? But if I told myself for the rest of my life, from today until the day I die, I'm going to drink a cup of gin every day or a cup of vodka every day, an 8-ounce cup of vodka every day. Over time, it becomes high exposure. So just be honest. Just say, you know what? Radiation is bad. Low exposure is better than high exposure. This idea that low exposure, there's no evidence. But then again, we don't have low exposure. Everywhere I go, there's a cell phone, there's a tower. There's cell phone towers everywhere. There are 5G towers that are everywhere, around schools, on every corner, at gas stations. They're all over the damn place. So that's not low exposure, man. That's high exposure. She's reading something.
People living near 5G or other similar towers have increased risk of cancer or other health concerns.
That's because the radiation cell towers give off is non-ionizing.
We do know that ionizing radiation, such as radiation you'd get from an X-ray, does cause cancer.
Thompson says it's important to remember.
That's a lie. Ionized radiation causes cancer, but non-ionized radiation also causes sicknesses. Either way, it's not about, the subject is not about getting cancer. You see how they do it? Because cancer is that's the big money maker for this culture. Making people sick and giving them cancer makes billions of dollars in our world today. So that's the culture. Wear your ribbon for Pink Ribbon Day, for breast cancer. It's a culture. We love it. We live in a death cult, right? So they have to use those emotional terms. Oh, this causes cancer, but radiation causes sicknesses too, even if it's non-ionized. I'm like, don't act like non-ionized radiation is something that's healthy. It's not healthy. It causes sicknesses too. It's part of you getting radiation poisoning. Nausea, losing your hair, nosebleeds, fatigue, headaches. Lady, be quiet, man.
Remember that there are other things research shows is more strongly linked to cancer. Things like smoking, not getting enough exercise, and consuming.
Smoking, not getting enough exercise, the diets, the foods, and the radiation that's in the air, the corona discharge that's in the air. Yeah, say corona discharge. The virus that you guys think is the virus, the corona discharge from all the frequencies. Yeah, those cause cancers too.
Processed foods. In the newsroom, Sarah Wilson, ABC 27 News. Alicia, back to you.
All right, Sarah, thanks so much.
Yeah, man. So that's what they do. They just tell lies. They bring somebody that's a professor at some university to give credibility to the lie. Impacts of 5G cell services on your health. Yeah, the impact, there's impact for sure. You have to ask yourself, is it a good impact or a bad impact? I don't give a damn how small the bad impact is. I don't want to knowingly do something that I know is bad for me. I don't care how small it is. So just be honest, people. Be honest. All right, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. And thank you for Amanda. Thank you. You're the only one here listening to me. Thank you so much for always following me. And one day, I promise, I'm going to have like a nice studio. I'm going to have my microphone. I'm going to have all my stuff looking real nice. And, I'll be more appealing. But I really thank you for listening. It means that you really value the content. And because I don't have any theatrics, I don't have nice music. It's just me talking in front of a computer. And I don't claim to be an expert on anything. I just try to just talk with people on what I know and have you guys chime in. I learn from you guys too. I get other perspectives from you guys too. So it's not just me talking at you like I know it all. It's just me talking with you. And hopefully as my channel continues to grow, I'll have more people that dialogue and we can all learn from each other. All right. Again, thank you for watching. I'm going to end my stream now. Again, thank you, Amanda, so much for listening. And yeah, you said exactly. You said she's not even looking in the camera. Yeah, she's not looking in the camera. Yeah, she's looking. Her eyeballs are somewhere else. Exactly. A first lady in my city got the needle, and 3 months later, she announced wow. You see, like. But God forbid if you say the V word, because they've already banned me. They've already given me like 2 strikes already. Because I did some videos about the V word, and I was breaking it down about how it's not what it is. But they flagged the hell out of me, man. But yeah, you're right. But some people, they'll label you an anti whatever. They're like, we've become so divisive. You're anti this, you're pro that. No, we want to fight against the same enemy. Let's come together and just understand that there's certain things that are dangerous and certain things that are safe. Let's be on one page and at least consider that this might be causing a problem in people. But people, they just get they're on the defense. No, you're anti this. I'm like, whoa. Stop the name calling here. Let's look at the empirical data and look at the evidence. Look at what's happening to people. And there are 5G towers all over. Yeah, they are. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. 5G is everywhere. But that's the elephant in the room that everyone's ignoring. They keep talking about viruses and stuff. No, the air is the virus. We are being electrified. That's the virus. Our cells are metabolizing at a fast rate, causing us to be sick more frequently and putting us out of homeostasis. You're absolutely right. So emotional. Yeah, they get emotional. Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening. And thank you again, Amanda, for motivating me and keeping me going. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. You thanking me? No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'll see you guys next time in another video. All right. I'll see you guys later. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.